PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.
Welcome to PharmaVentures Insights at Biotech and Money 2016 in London. Today on the show we have Thomas Leonard, CEO of Bone Therapeutics. Welcome, Thomas.
Thank you.
Tell me about Bone Therapeutics and your involvement in the company.
Yeah. So Bone Therapeutics is a Belgian-based biotech company. We're specialized in cell therapy for orthopedics and bone diseases. So basically what we do is we manufacture bone-forming cells called osteoblasts using bone marrow from either a healthy donor or from the patient itself. We have two different technologies. We are researching our 6 different indications, like unhealed fractures or osteonecrosis of the hip or even lumbar spinal fusion.
And how was the company founded?
The company was founded 10 years ago as a spin-off of the University of Brussels. So the technology was created there and then the company was formed, then financed. We did an IPO early 2015 to expand our business and operations. We are currently in clinical trials in phase 2 and phase 3. So that's where we're at.
In clinical trials for all the 6 indications?
Yes, for the 6 indications. 4 of them are in phase 2, 2 of them are in phase 3.
And so have you been talking to larger companies, larger biopharmaceutical companies, to partner up with them or any other activities in that sense?
Yeah, well, we're always obviously talking to various partners around the world for business development purposes. So we're looking at partners for co-development and commercialization, for licensing. So we very much have a focus currently on Japan and Southeast Asia and on the US. Obviously for Europe we're also open to opportunities, but we're currently developing on our own the products for Europe.
You mentioned a few different indications using this platform technology. And so how big are these markets that you're targeting, and what was your foothold market to get into?
Yeah. Most of these markets are actually rather large. So if you're looking at unhealed fractures, you have up to 1 million unhealed fractures around the world. If you look at lumbar spinal fusion, you have 500,000 procedures in the US and Europe alone. Those markets are rather large, but very importantly, there are very high unmet medical needs in these indications. So for many of these patients, there is actually no option at the moment, or really no satisfactory option. So what we hope to provide is a new technology that will recreate the bone with a minimally invasive approach. That means it's a change of paradigm versus what's currently done in orthopedics, where you have very invasive approaches with long rehabilitation times. Our product gets, in most indications, get injected locally in one shot. It's a 20-minute intervention that can be done in a one-day clinic. So it's a change of paradigm.
And what's your sales strategy, and who's going to pay for this? Who's your customer?
Who's going to pay for this? That's always the good question, obviously. Well, what we try to do, and we will do, is show that our products obviously have a value for money. So we'll have to convince payers that there is a value for money. As I said, there are very limited options for those patients. However, the indications we're talking about, like unhealed fractures, for example, are very debilitating. Imagine you have a broken leg, and after 3-4 months it hasn't healed, so you stay on, you keep on living with a broken leg. It has a huge impact on the healthcare cost, obviously, because it involves many operations and hospitalizations and rehabilitation, but also indirect costs. Typically those patients are rather young. We're talking about patients with sports fractures or car accident fractures. They're young and they're taken out of the active life, so all those costs are very high. So we think we will be able to prove that these technologies really are a good value for money and will save actually and pain, but also money for the payers.
The headquarters of Bone Therapeutics is based in Belgium.
Yes.
With your international growth, do you have plans to expand the team internationally as well?
Yeah. So we currently have plans to develop some of our indications in the US. So we have set up an affiliate in the US, in Boston, and we will start clinical trials in the US. So 2017 will really be the year where we prepare those clinical trials for the US.
In terms of your raw material supply, how active is the bone marrow donation market, and how do you have to go through regulatory hoops to get to those?
Well, obviously this is a very regulated procedure. So we work with bone marrow banks that actually are able to attract donors, healthy donors that give their bone marrow. So it's very regulated, but this is definitely something that's possible, and that's going to be increasingly important as cell therapies in general evolve.
And you've had good results from clinical trials so far?
Yes. So, well, obviously those are preliminary and intermediate results, but we've announced great preliminary results. If we're looking at our indications in delayed union fractures, currently we have results on a group of 8 patients. 7 out of those 8 patients showed, actually reached the primary endpoints that we had set. We have also very good results in lumbar spinal fusion, in terms of safety, very importantly, obviously, but also in terms of clinical and radiological endpoints. When we're looking at osteonecrosis of the hip, we also showed good results in a phase 2. We're currently in phase 3, but the phase 2 showed very nice results that were recently communicated at a rheumatology congress.
And what's your vision for the company going forward?
So as I said, we have 2 different products, one using the bone marrow of the patient, one using the bone marrow of a healthy donor. That last technology, using a healthy donor's bone marrow, is called allogenic. This is really what we want to focus on. So that's one part of the strategy. We think that the allogenic product is better from an industrial perspective. It's easier to scale up. It's easier to use for larger markets because you don't have a direct link between the one patient and one product, one lot. So we really confirmed our strategy to focus on the allogenic products. So that's what we will develop further in the US, in Europe, but also in the US. So that's one part. Second part is we want to move forward and complete one of our phase 3 trial that's the furthest in its development. So we get actually, on the one hand, external validation from an agency like the EMA that the bone-forming cell therapy technology definitely works in orthopedics or bone diseases. And second, this would propel our company into commercial stage.
Sounds like you're on a great journey, Thomas.
Yeah.
Congratulations, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
PharmaVentures, experts in deals and alliances.